Hi everyone, I'm Heidi and this is my homestead. Let's go check it out. Alright, so walking in here, I have done bush beans in this first little section and they are just starting to sprout, which is very exciting. And then I have black turtle beans in this section. They're a bush bean and you're able to dry them for black beans, which will be great because then we can just have some homegrown black beans in the pantry for us, ready to go. Now, still in this first bed, we have all of the green peas that I planted and they are looking fantastic. I'm really excited with how these are turning out. And I have a bunch over here too. This is actually a morning glory. And if you are thinking about planting morning glories, I caution you to buyer beware because they will self-seed and they will spread and these vines will choke out any other plant in their path. So they're very beautiful, but plant them with caution. Okay, in the second bed, I planted 3 rows of zinnia, and you can just see them starting to sprout. This is grass. These are zinnia. I love zinnia. They're an excellent cut flower. Who doesn't like zinnia? And then in here is some more leaf lettuce, things for salad. I think I did watercress. We'll see how that turns out. The garlic, on the other hand, is looking fantastic. It is really growing. This is probably up to my waist now. And we should, right here, we're starting to see the formation of the garlic scape. So what that is, here's a really good example. A garlic scape will grow. This will actually curl around on itself, kind of in a pinwheel. And then you want to cut those off so that all of the energy goes down into the garlic bulb instead of making the flower, which is a garlic scape. All right, third up we have the pepper row. And this row, listen, I bought a lot of these starts and there's no shame in that game. You don't have to start everything from seed. The peppers I started from seed, let me show you what those look like. Small. Horrible. They did not do good this year. So I went ahead and I bought some peppers. No problem. They're looking great. One thing with peppers is you want to pinch them off because then you're going to get more fruiting branches. And what I mean by that is, here's an example of one I already pinched off. You just take the top and you would literally pluck that right off. You think that it's going to be detrimental to the plant, and it is going to set it back from growing just a hair, but in the end you will have way more peppers than if you just leave it to a 1 liter. Okay, this is my pride and joy. It's my brassica bed, and I'm so happy with how this is turning out. What I did was I went to a big box store and I got the 10-foot 1/2-inch PVC pipes. And then what I did was put a little piece of like rebar, or if you have like a big stick, you put that in the ground, put the PVC over top of it into the hoop, and then I just bought this net and I secured it with rocks. This way, all the little bunnies whom will inevitably get into your garden aren't able to come and destroy everything in one night, nor are the cabbage moths able to get in there. So in here I have green cabbage, red cabbage, Brussels sprouts. This is Chinese cabbage. This is really taking off. I am so pleased with how those are going. A little bit of bug damage. I think there were some bugs in there when I put the net on. I also have broccoli and cauliflower in this bed. Okay, if we keep going, this is a new one for me. I'm trying corn for drying and then grinding up. And you can see a teeny tiny sprout This is absolutely not enough corn, but it's an experiment. It's my first year. This is a wood chip bed. Last year it was a potato bed, and as you can see, we did miss some potatoes, and so more potatoes are growing in there. So I just kind of moved the wood chips away. I dug all these little holes, and then just popped the seeds right in there. So we'll see how that turns out. Moving right along, we have the onion bed, and I also have shallots in here. They are doing really good. I buy them from Dixondale Farms. And Dixondale Farms, they only do onions and shallots and leeks, and you can buy them as starts. So they come as like a teeny tiny onion plant versus doing it from seed, which I have had trouble planting onions from seed in the past. So I was like, let me just make my life a little bit easier. Last year, the onions did really, really good. So this year I bought 3 times as more onions as I did last year. So we eat a lot of onions, probably with almost every meal, and we try to do a lot of at-home cooking. So onions and garlic are definitely some of the staple crops that I like to grow every single year. All right, here's the strawberry bed from my last video that I transplanted the strawberries. It did okay. As you can see, I have plenty of weeds over here. But in terms of the strawberries, oh, I actually see one. I see 2. They are gonna eat this right now. If I can get it off. There we go. So good. Warmed up from the sun. There's nothing like homegrown strawberries. So this bed, I knew it wasn't going to produce very well because I had transplanted them, and on that day it was in the 80s. So probably wasn't the best day to do it, but they are doing fairly well for that type of a transplant. The bed I transplanted them from is what I'm going to get the main harvest of strawberries this year. And then once that bed is done, I'm going to take those out, maybe transplant a couple more into the new bed. But by next year and the year after, this bed is going to really fill out. So I don't need to worry about having a strawberry shortage anytime soon. All right, so we have the new strawberry bed, and then I have a tomatillo bed. Last year, I grew 6 tomatillos, and it really wasn't enough. We love eating salsa verde. And so this year I'm doing 11 tomatillos, and they're doing pretty well. I have them on a trellis system because they do get quite large and they need the support once they start to fruit. And as you can see, some are kind of already flowering, but they still have a lot of season to go. They love the hot, so I'm really looking forward to making some more salsa verde this year. This board on the ground is actually covering up where I sowed carrots. And the thing about carrot seeds is they're so incredibly small. You have to surface sow them, and then you have to keep them moist. And that's really hard when they're just hanging out on top of the ground. So you put a board down, and that holds in some of the moisture. And carrots can take like 1 to 2 weeks to germinate. And so this will hold the moisture. Once they start to sprout, I'll take the board off and we're off to the races with carrots. If we keep going down this row, I have some calendula that I started from seed, which is super fun. I think this is also calendula. And then I thought I had planted another calendula, but yesterday we found one of these to be actually a radish, so I'm not totally sure what this is. Next to it I have curly parsley, Italian parsley, and then some cosmos flowers. I like to intermix some flowers throughout the garden I love flowers. It's good for the beneficial pollinators, and who doesn't like them? Moving right along, this section is my zucchini. So last year I planted probably 8 zucchini plants, and I harvested about 2 zucchini. It was a horrible zucchini year. I heard that from multiple people, so it made me feel a little bit better. But this year, fingers crossed, I have 12 zucchini. I had wanted to try 3 different varieties. No, 4 different varieties. And so I planted 3 of each one in the hopes that some zucchinis would grow. So we shall see, but let me show you, they're starting to sprout. So here they are sprouting. How I've done zucchini in the past is you like make a little mound, and then I always plant 3 seeds to make sure that I'll get at least some germination. And this one's 2, so I'll have to thin this. Might get another day or so. Here's some more sprouting. So hopefully we'll have some zucchini, but who knows. And then down here I think I plugged in some sunflowers. Not sure, can't remember. My goal this year was to do a way better job at labeling all my plants, and I feel like I got 80% of the way there, and then I ran out of labels, and then it all kind of just fell apart, and I didn't take good notes in my garden journal. So we'll see if a sunflower actually grows there or not. All right, let's hop on over. Here's my attempt at squashing some weeds in the next walkway, but I need to put some wood chips down. All right. I have some fun marigolds. And then, horrible. These are eggplants. 3 of them. And they all look horrible. And I'm not totally sure why. I usually say to only grow the things you like to eat, because why waste your time growing things that you're not even going to eat? But my dad really likes eggplant, and he requested that I specifically grow them. So these are for Dad, and I'm sorry, Dad, if we don't get any eggplant. I'm trying. All right, and then further down here we have, this is the tomato row, and then I did do more carrots in front of the tomatoes. There's a whole book called Tomatoes Love Carrots, or Carrots Love Tomatoes. And they really do go well together. This year I am doing a bunch of Romas, which are a determinate. And what that means is they genetically are going to grow a determined amount of size and then produce a determined amount of fruit. Versus an indeterminate, which are the really fancy ones that you see trellising up, and then you never know how many tomatoes you'll actually get off of them. It really can keep going and going until you have a frost that kills them off. This bed is a really good example of why you want to mulch, because look at all my beautiful tomatoes. Last week, all of this soil was bare, and now look at all of the weed pressure I have. So I'm gonna have to go back through, put my mulch down, weed, and then put my mulch down. There's a saying that goes, Mother Earth is modest and she likes to be covered up. So you can either cover her with mulch, or if you're choosing, or she's going to cover herself with weeds. So it's up to you. All right, here are some Amish paste tomatoes. I grew these last year from seed. My seeds that I started this year didn't make it, so I went ahead and bought some. But they grow the biggest, in my opinion. They're so good for making pasta sauce, which we eat a lot of pasta sauce. And this is an indeterminate variety, so I have a really good trellis here that I can tie it off to as it grows to hold it up. And as it grows, what I'll do is I'm going to trim off these bottom branches, because you don't want anything that is going to be too close to the ground, because when you either water or it rains, you get splashback, and that's how you can get diseases from the soil onto the leaves of your plants. Here's a really good example of a sucker. They grow like in the armpit of the plant. So you could see here's the main stalk, and then this would be a fruiting limb, and then this is a sucker growing right in the armpit, and you want to pinch those off. And eventually I'm actually going to take this one too, because it's too close to the ground, but let's let it grow just a hair more. Okay, I'm also growing pink brandywine, purple Cherokee, my favorite slicing tomato, Oxheart. This is a new one for me. I'm kind of excited to try this. I've heard that it's good for sauce and good for just fresh eating. I'm also growing a pineapple variety, so that'll be fun. And then my sister-in-law gave these ones to me. It's a black strawberry tomato, so it's like a grape tomato variety. And last year in her garden they were so sweet and good that I wanted to give it a go this year. I'm really not a big cherry tomato person, so my goal was to grow one of the black strawberry and then one sweet gold 100, no, sun gold. And I have 6 cherry tomato plants, so what are you gonna do? Oh, I forgot to show you, I also have intercropped in here some sweet basil. And basil is one of those other things that you should pinch off so that it grows bigger and bushier. So what I'm gonna do, we see here's like the little guy, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and take his whole top. And it seems extreme, but I guarantee this is going to help it grow tons more basil. We'll do the same thing to this one. We'll just take the top. And then I can eat this tonight with some pasta maybe. All right, let's walk over to the trellises. Over here I decided to do, gosh, good thing I labeled, some cucumbers. And then I did do a melon on the end. I've never had success growing any type of a melon. It doesn't stay hot enough generally here, but our weather actually has been almost 90 degrees the past 2 days. So you just never know. I thought I'd give it a go. And then over here I have some pole beans because I love how they grow up and on top of the trellis. Then on this trellis we have our peas, more peas, which are doing fantastic. And then peas over here. And then this is our potatoes. These are looking really good. My husband did mound these up, and it looks like we actually need to do it again because they are growing crazy. I'm really excited about this. And then we can head right into the wilderness where I probably need to pick more asparagus. Oh yeah, look at this one. This is like up to my thigh. So I'll just pluck him off. And then what I'll do is just eat like the top half of this and then toss this part to the chickens. Here's our second potato bed. I had really high hopes for this one and it's really not doing great. I think we were overwatering and I had no idea that this chicken coop clean out could retain moisture. Look, it's even wet just under there like it has. So I think we may have rotted out a good amount of our potatoes. We do have some kind of here in the corner. So perhaps there's hope. We shall see. But, oh, I see another asparagus I can get. They kind of hide. Gotta have an eye for them. You want to see chickens in a grapevine? There they go. Eating the bugs. All right, friends, that's all I got for you. This was the June garden tour. I'll make sure to post hopefully a little bit more frequently because things are really changing in here quite quickly. I started off this year a little bit discouraged because of my seed starts, but once I actually started getting plants in the ground and I gave myself some grace and bought some plants, I'm really excited about how this garden is turning out this year. I have really high hopes and it is just such a blessing to be able to be out here being a good steward of this little plot of the earth that I call home. So hopefully you'll tune in next time and I'll see you then. Bye-bye. Side note, if you ever wanted to feel really popular, get chickens and feed them treats. Watch this. Chickens! Chickens! Here they come. Is there anything funnier than a chicken running? Hey girls. Hey ladies. What y'all doing? Ain't got no snacks. Sorry about it.